Hey, what is happening, YouTube? Welcome back to the Sal Pitera channel. And today we're just going to do kind of a live talk. My wife and I are going on what we like to call just a wander about. We're looking for a place to have a nice early dinner, late lunch. So we're going to pick a direction we've never been from the house and just kind of wander that way. For those of you who don't know, I live in gloomy Northeast Ohio. Yes, I hate Ohio. It is, to me, the armpit of America. Sorry if you other Ohioans out there don't feel differently than I do. But I would much rather be sitting down on a warm beach somewhere, relaxing. So this is just going to be a general talk. We're going to talk about things cruise related as I drive along. Debbie, my beautiful wife, is right here next to me in the passenger seat. Hi, guys. And she will be, I'm going to let her adjust the phone so maybe you can get both of us in there. She will be reading to me the text that you guys put down in the chat, and together the three of us will discuss it. That's probably good. You just kind of lean over towards me a little bit. There you go. And we should be able to talk it. So I want to thank everybody for watching the videos, the last two that I put up. One was on the federal judge who threatened to ban Carnival from porting its ships into United States ports. The first video went absolutely viral. I think it has almost 20,000 views already. No, excuse me, not 20,000, 180,000 views. What am I thinking of? It has almost 180,000 views. And I was overwhelmed by the support on that video and the people who agree with what I said, as well as, you take the good with the bad. I'm appreciative of the many people who also posted, contrary opinions, with the exception of you're always going to get people on this channel that just hate cruising and just hate Carnival in general. And no matter what you put up, there is going to be hate information on it. And for those people, I just have one question. Why are you watching cruising videos to begin with if you hate cruising so much and you think that, that's the most horrible experience in the world? Personally, I think that's really not the case. I think that most of those people probably just can't afford to go on a cruise, or they just haven't for whatever reason and are just jealous of those of us that have. Probably, but I got a lot of hate comments as well as the good ones. A lot of people despise my channel, and for them, I say, there's a subscribe button down below. There is also an unsubscribe button. If you hate our channel, feel free to use that subscribe button. But if you love our channel and you're new to our channel, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Now, the subscription button, when you hit subscribe, is 100% free. There's no cost to subscribe to our channel. And if you hit the little bell icon next to it, YouTube will let you know whenever we upload a new video. It'll send you a notification. Now, excuse me, YouTube also put on our channel unexpectedly a join button. And I just wanted to explain how the join button works. If you click the join button, again, subscribing to our channel is free and we really appreciate it. But if you click the join button, it financially supports our channel and it gives us $4.99 per month. It's not a lot of money, and here's what you're going to get for your $4.99. Let me adjust this again. Sorry, this my phone is on a mount that kind of moves around a little bit as the car jiggles. So for your $4.99 a month, starting next month, you're going to get an exclusive chat like this. You'll also get that's just for members that hit the join button and support us financially. And you're also going to get special deals from Carnival as well. As I get special deals and I get deals that aren't released to the general public a lot of times, I will pass those on to our paid members. As well as, if you watch my channel, you know that I give a lot of things away for free. We have lots of things we do. We're going to have a 35,000 subscriber party soon where we're going to give a lot of things away for free. But each month I'm going to pick from those uh, members that have joined and contributed the $4.99 to the channel and send somebody from there a special prize as well. So it's not something you have to do, and it's really just for those who like our channel and really want to give a little extra to support our channel, because these videos do take a lot of time to make and a lot of cruises to go on to create the footage and the tours. So that every extra little bit helps. We certainly get money from YouTube just from you watching the videos and being subscribed. So again, you don't have to hit that join button. I would never ask anybody to pay to watch the videos, but that join button is just for people who feel that, they like our channel and they want to give us a little bit extra. So let's take a look at some of the comments, see if there's anything we need to respond to. By the way, as this video goes on, comments do tend to get abundant. And again, this isn't all about the money, but if you choose to do a super chat, it highlights it, which also supports our channel financially. And a super chat will highlight and guarantee that we see it, because as they scroll the screen, sometimes we miss some of the chats. So if you're kind enough to do a super chat, we guarantee that we will see that, because it will highlight it on our screen.
One of the questions that we have kind of relates back to a video that you just recently had done.
You might have to speak up a little bit without the microphone.
Sorry. It says, I have a cruise scheduled in July, and they are wondering if it's something that they should be nervous about with waiting to see what the judge is wanting to do with Carnival.
Okay, let me answer that question. And no, I wouldn't be too nervous. I mean, yeah, the judge threatened it, but certainly, even though it's a federal judge and they are appointed for life, regardless of what they do, whether they make mistakes or not, I mean, there is an element of reality. If you watched my video yesterday, you saw just some of the economic impact around the whole globe, let alone the massive economic impact that it would have here in the United States. I really don't believe that the judge is going to follow through with her threats. Judges threaten things all the time to scare businesses, but certainly she realized you don't close down $1 trillion business. Yes, $1 trillion business over a few bad actors. And from what I've read, the things that she's accusing Carnival of, and again, I haven't confirmed this, is not dumping oil like they were in probation for 5 years ago. It were things like a deck chair here and there going overboard, which were either blown overboard by the wind or thrown over by a customer. It wasn't like things that are really like going to destroy our ocean. Now, granted, everything we put in the ocean destroys it a little bit, but it wasn't like anything that's going to be like massively destructing our oceans. So back to the original question, I really wouldn't be worried. I have a cruise scheduled about then too. I'm not worried. Very worst case, if that judge were to make good and say, we're not allowing you to port, I am quite sure that Carnival would offer you a refund on your cruise or find you an alternate way to get to their vessel. My personal beliefs, in the very, very unlikely way that would happen, I mean, I believe Carnival would just rent out a local dock and just tender their boats in, just the way they do when you tender in a foreign country. They don't have to have a pier on a federal grounds in order to load their passengers. So there are lots of ways around it, I believe. And like I said, worst case, I'm quite sure that if Carnival had to cancel your cruise, looking at history, I'm quite sure you would get a full refund and they would make it right for any money that you lost. I find Carnival is a very, you do hear horror stories because, only bad news makes the news. But in general, I think you'll find that Carnival really loves their customers and really goes above and beyond anything they can do to make every single customer happy. And by the way, if you stay on this, I have something that I'm going to tell you that I've learned that I've never shared with anybody before, and I heard it from a very high up very high up person at Carnival. At the time, I was asked not to share the information or let anybody know that it came from this person, but enough time has passed that I think I can say it. I'm not going to say where it comes from, but I do have something very interesting I'm going to share with you during this video. I'm not going to say when, so you're going to have to keep watching the video.
And I think I might know what it is, and if it's what I think it is,
pretty juicy.
It's definitely something you want to stick around and hear.
It was juicy enough that this high up member of Carnival did not want me to blab about it in any way, shape, or form. But again, I'm not going to tell you where it came from, but I promise you what I'm going to share with you is something that you'll really like. Okay, so while Deb's still looking through chats and super chats, wanted to go over one piece of information with you, and it's probably the biggest tip I give everybody that books a cruise with me or first-time cruisers. And I'm sorry, but this mount is on a magnet, and the vibrations of the car are making it fall down. So a lot of people ask me what the biggest tip I can give them is, and I can't stress this enough. And this coming from me, I worked for an airline, so I saw this every single day. And granted, a lot of you are going to say, well, that won't happen to me. And I'm here to tell you that everybody says it won't happen to me. And then it does happen. And I'm telling you, it happens every single day. If you're planning a cruise, the biggest tip I can give you is never, ever plan on arriving into your port city the morning of the cruise, especially if you're flying. Spend the extra $100, get a hotel locally. If you're having trouble get a hotel, let me know. I'd be happy to help you at no charge. Get a good deal on one. But I can't tell you how many people say, no, I fly in the morning of the cruise and I never have a problem. But I can tell you every single day at the airport, we have people who miss their cruise ships due to a one flight delay. Even a flight like in the wintertime that's leaving someplace warm going to Miami. You don't know if the plane that you're getting on, like in Texas, was in Newark, New Jersey the day beforehand. And there might have been snow in Newark. There could have been a mechanical breakdown. You don't know, but one flight missed affects every other flight. And if you plan on flying in the day of your cruise, I mean, quite literally, one small delay, even a 15, 20-minute delay, could put you in the wrong order on the runway and keep you sitting out there. One delay, and you've missed your ship, and you're going to have to find your own way to the next port of call at your own expense. So always take the extra day, and hey, you're going to have an extra day of vacation by doing it, but take the extra day and fly in the day beforehand. Believe me, you'll thank me by not when you don't miss your ship.
We do have one question, and I'm assuming that this is coming in regards to the whole Carnival, like maybe possibly being blocked, and I may be wrong. And if that's not the case, and if it's more just in general about if a cruise being canceled, then please let us know.
And you really got to speak up because of the engine noise.
It's an electric car.
I know, but it's right over top of the engine. You guys,
Without the insurance, and like I said, I assume that has to do with if the ports were blocked.
if the question was, and again, let us know if you can hear Debbie down there. I'll repeat it just in case you can't. The question was, somebody asked if Carnival would refund a cruise without insurance, and the answer is no. I mean, if it's Carnival's fault, if you're talking about whether or not they would be blocked from going in port, or they canceled your sailing, yeah, I've never seen Carnival not refund customers. But the reality is they don't have to. Even if they cancel the cruise, and this is any cruise line, not just Carnival, legally they're not responsible to refund you. That's what cruise insurance is for. And I strongly recommend cruise insurance, by the way. But that being said, I've never seen Carnival, if the reason for the cancellation was their fault, I've never seen Carnival not refund a customer. In fact, we were supposed to go on a cruise on, I think it was the Sensation, back when New Orleans had the really bad hurricane. Was the Elation? And they not only canceled our cruise, but they chartered the Elation to become a hotel in New Orleans for the folks that were fixing up the city. And Carnival not only gave us a full refund and donated their ship to the City of New Orleans, but they also gave us a free cruise of our choosing for a future cruise. And yeah, I have a relationship with Carnival, but to my knowledge, this was offered to everybody on board scheduled to be on that cruise. So Carnival's always been really fair, but I strongly recommend cruise insurance. It's going to protect you from a lot of things like missing the ship, or if the cruise were to get canceled, or you missed the cruise for whatever reasons due to health reasons. And they even have a cancel for any reason now with Carnival's cruise insurance, where you can literally just say the day beforehand, I don't want to go. And while they don't give you your money back, they give you, I believe it's a 75% credit towards a future cruise. But the biggest two reasons I find for cruise insurance is one, luggage will get lost a lot of times, and it's a small percentage, but if it happens to you, you'll be really grateful uh, that luggage is included in insurance. But the biggest reason of all is if something were to happen on board ship and you were to become injured. It will cover your doctor's expenses, and it literally covers if the injury is really bad and you have to be helicoptered off the ship. It would cover that life flight, which can cost upwards of $50,000 to $100,000. So cruise insurance is definitely something that I recommend, and I hope I answered that question because I kind of go off my tangents.
Well, we did have somebody ask about the price of the insurance, and I know it varies depending on which cruise you're on and like the lengths of it and all that. So I don't know if you
Correct.
can touch base on that.
Carnival offers cruise insurance with your ticket. It ranges from $39.99 to I believe $159.99. It depends on the length and price of your cruise. If you also go to salpitera.com, on my webpage, I actually have a link to insuremytrip.com, which has lots of great insurance policies and you can compare prices. If you use the link on my website, I do get a small commission off of it, but you also get a discount on the insurance by using it as well. So it's a win-win. And typically, not that Carnival's insurance isn't good, because we've bought Carnival insurance and recommend it to a lot of people, but the insurance policies through Insure My Trip, lots of them are a lot more comprehensive, cover a lot more things for pretty much the same amount of money as Carnival. So check them both and compare. But again, I strongly recommend cruise insurance. I wouldn't travel without it anymore.
Um, I'm gonna skip one of the questions here, but I want to come back to it, but only because we're already on this topic. But somebody's asking if you have the cruise insurance, or if you have the insurance for the cruise, does it cover missed excursions as well?
Depends on the insurance. If you missed the excursion, I'm assuming you mean you were late getting to the excursion. Yes, some policies will cover that. I do not believe Carnival covers it directly. If you miss the insurance because of like weather or something like that, I think almost all tour operators will refund you. Deb, you got to move this way a little. You're off the screen. Yeah, let's fix that again. Okay, that's a little better. Did anybody put whether or not they could hear you or not?
No.
Maybe they can't hear me either.
One of the questions that we do have has to do with the Cheers package, and they want to know if it's 15 drinks flat or if it's just 15 drinks that are alcohol and the rest that are non-alcoholic or unlimited.
All right, let me explain the Cheers package to you. And I'm going to explain why I get the Cheers package as well, even though I don't drink. I know that sounds weird, right? I don't drink and I still buy the Cheers package. And I didn't always feel this way, by the way. Before I formed this opinion a couple cruises ago when I went ahead and bought it, and when I didn't think the Cheers package was worth it. But I'm going to explain why I get it and what it includes. So let's talk about it. First of all, to buy the Cheers package, it's about $60 a day per adult.
Before you go on, they're saying that they can hear us, but the volume is low, so I think we both need to try to speak up.
Okay. So the Cheers package is about $60 a day. I don't have the exact in front of me for Carnival because I'm obviously driving. And it covers up to 15 alcoholic drinks per day, and only drinks that would normally be $20 or less if you ordered them individually. If you order a drink over that, you do get a 50% discount on any drink over that. And frankly, there aren't that many drinks over that unless you're getting like a premier cognac or a high quality bottle of wine, something of that nature. So for the most part, it's going to cover any drink that you would want on board the ship. So the 15 drinks rather, is a maximum. In fact, if you hit the 15th drink, you can't even buy another drink and pay for it. 15 will completely cut you off for the day. And they reset it, I believe it's 6 o'clock every morning. Now, along with your 15 alcoholic beverages, you can also drink pretty much anything non-alcoholic on board the ship, free of charge, unlimited. So you're going to get your soda pop. It's going to be unlimited. Fresh fruit drinks from the bar, not the ones from the dispensers that are included in every cruise. You're going to get milkshakes if the ship you're on has a milkshake bar, which most of them do now. The specialty coffee shop, all your cappuccinos, mochachinos, espressos are all included. Bottled water is also included. Now, the only one that does not include, if you get the giant bottles on the gangway or the giant bottles they put in your stateroom, those aren't included. But at any bar, you can just walk up and say, "Can I have a bottle of water?" And all of that is unlimited. Just about anything you can drink on board the ship is unlimited, and then 15 alcoholic beverages per day. Now, I don't drink personally. I had gastric bypass surgery a while back, and because of that, I get very, very drunk very, very quick. As a matter of fact, one shot and I'm pretty much on the floor. My wife does drink socially. She's not a heavy drinker, but she drinks socially. And I do buy the Cheers package when we get on board. And here's why. First of all, you can save for the Cheers package in advance. So when you get on board, you're not going to have that huge final bill at the end. But for me personally, when I travel with Debbie on board, I like for her to have the absolute best time that she can have. And, well, Deb's a little frugal. So when she's at dinner and she's thinking about having a glass of wine, she'll pull out her app and look, where is the bill at? I don't want to get our bill too high. And pretty much if she's on the sun deck and she's thinking about getting something, she might not get that drink because she's thinking about how high that bill is going to be at the end of the cruise. So for me personally, just for the enjoyment, even though I know in advance it's going to end up costing me a little more, I buy the Cheers package because then when she wants a drink, she doesn't think about it. She just enjoys a drink at dinner. She enjoys two drinks at dinner, whatever she wants, and she never has to think about that bill at the end of the cruise. And do we get our money's worth? No, probably not even close. To get your money's worth, each person who pays for it has to have about 4.5 drinks a day. I think Deb probably does 4 to 5 drinks a day. I do maybe one. So I'm quite sure we're losing a little bit. But for us, it's more about the experience. And yeah, I think the drink package is worth it.
Um, we have a couple statements here. One, I'm going to let you touch on because I'm not exactly sure the way that it's written.
If we're missing your questions, by the way, again, if you do a super chat for any denomination, it highlights it on our phones, and it guarantees we'll get to you. So if we're missing some of your questions, I'm sorry, but there are a lot of them. So again, if you do a super chat, not only does it support our channel financially, but it also guarantees that we get to your chat.
The one comment is that all people in the cabin that purchased, or all people in the cabin must purchase also whether they drink or not.
That's correct.
Anybody over the age of 21 does have to do it if one person wants it.
Correct.
Now, the question that I'm going to refer him to is, says Cheers package covers the adult for alcohol, will also cover non-alcoholic drinks for minors. I believe if you want to do non-alcoholic drinks for minors, you'd be better off just to buy the.
Well, you can't buy the Cheers package for minors, so you don't have a choice. There is no Cheers package for minors, so the minors in your cabin do have the option to buy the bottomless bubbles package. I don't remember the cost. It's under $10 per day per person, and it covers all your soda and all of your drinks. It does not include milkshakes. It does not include the coffee bar, but it covers soda and fresh fruit drinks from the bar, unlimited, and that's the bottomless bubbles package.
And then to backtrack a little bit, somebody had said that they know that they have insurance through their credit card with Visa, and they want to know if that's going to be enough to cover them.
Probably not. Every card is different. Some have travel insurance built into them, but usually it's very, very, very basic travel insurance. So you'll have to call your credit card company and find out what is and what is not covered. But in my experience, it is extremely basic. It'll cover things like lost bags up to a very small amount. I don't believe any of them cover if you were to get sick on board and needed to be like flown home from the ship or anything like that. But every card is different, so you'll have to call your credit card company and find out exactly what's covered in their policy.
Okay, this kind of goes a little different. Somebody's asking if you know if they are still serving lemonade in the main dining room, then that they have read that it's possible that they're trying to force that out on Carnival ships.
I don't know. I had lemonade on my last cruise 2 months ago. But I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. The cruise industry in general is, well, it is starting to nickel and dime you like land-based, and unfortunately, that's one of the things that we've always enjoyed, to be able to go on a cruise and not have to worry about paying for every little thing. And it seems like the industry in general, and it's not just Carnival, it seems like the industry in general is going to more specialty restaurants and more things where you'll have to pull out that sale and sign account to pay for, and getting rid of a lot of little things like I don't know how long you guys have been cruising, but they used to do things like at the last dining day, they would actually give everybody a matte photo of the ship, and it was a big placemat kind of thing. I have a couple of them framed in my studio. If you've looked around my studio and you've seen them, things like the 24-hour unlimited room service, but there was nothing charged on it. Things like tablecloths, the mints, the chocolate mints they used to put on your pillows. I mean, just lots of little things seem to go away, and I kind of get they're trying to they're trying to keep the prices down, and 75% of the people on board a cruise are new cruisers, and about 25% are people who will remember the old days. But to a new cruiser, they don't miss those things because they never knew that they were there. So in general, Carnival gets to save a lot of money, but for people like us that have cruised for a long, long time, we definitely do see the cutbacks that the cruise lines make. But by far, even with the cutbacks, cruising is still the biggest bang for your buck, and for us, still the only way we'll vacation.
Okay, we have two questions. One is if we've ever been on the Carnival Sunshine before.
Many times.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I just put on.
Not that long ago.
If you look through my videos, I just did a 360-degree tour of the Sunshine, where you can literally take your phone and move it around and see all the way around in 360 degrees about a month ago.
And the next question is for Pam. She wants to know how she can get around this cheer package. There's really no way to get around it because she really wants it and her aunt does not.
There is no way to get around it. There are no exceptions. Even if you were to have like a medical excuse saying you can't drink, you still have to purchase it. It's unfortunate, but it's the only way to keep people honest, because if not, people will get the package and share drinks with the other person in the room. I know that's not what you would do, but lots and lots and lots of people would do it. And unfortunately, that would cost Carnival a lot of money. So, with something like this, considering alcohol is one of their big profit centers, I really don't blame them for the way they do it. It just kind of is what it is, but there is absolutely no way around it.
I know Carnival used to have those tickets you could buy in advance for the bar.
Yes.
They still do that, because that might be one way that she could get around it, where she could start planning in advance.
Yeah, if you want to start planning in advance and saving for it, you can always buy on Carnival.com. Once you log into your cruise, you can buy cruise cash. And I believe some of that cruise cash you can actually buy bar cash as well. That'll be allocated so you can only use it for the bar. That way you don't get on board and say, well, I really don't want to use it, but I want to use it for this. You can allocate it to use it so it's only good for the bar. Just log in at Carnival.com. You'll need your booking number. You'll need your sailing date as well as your ship. And then log in there, and you can see all kinds of fun things that you can buy on board, including alcohol packages or alcohol credits.
Okay, here's an interesting question. Somebody is interested to know what your outtake is on refurbished ships as opposed to new ships. Which do you prefer? Why? What's the differences in them? That kind of stuff.
It's a good question. First of all, the Sunshine is one of my favorite ships, and I didn't care for the Destiny so much before it was the Sunshine, but I really enjoy the Sunshine. When a ship gets completely refurbished, let's talk about refurbishing and rebranding, because there is refurbishing where a ship will just go into dry dock, it comes out with the same name, and they just put some upgrades into it. I don't think that's really what you're asking for. That the ship's not majorly different. It's things like replacing carpets, just making it look new again, and adding a few upgrades like Guy's Burger Shack and things of that nature. But if you're talking about a complete rebranding of a ship, like the Destiny was rebranded the Sunshine, or the Sunrise that's just started sailing this week, these ships, when they come out, they are entirely brand new ships. I mean, they gut the ship completely from stem to stern. The only thing really that they maintain is the shell and the motors. So really, it's like being on a brand new ship. Do we have the toll thingy? So really, it's like being on a brand new ship. So the question that I think I would reroute that question to say is, which do I prefer? Do I prefer to go on a bigger ship or a smaller ship? Because typically the refurbished ships and the rebranded ships are going to be smaller. And for me, the fantasy class will always be my favorite ship, because that was the first class I've ever went on. But really, I think my preference is just a middle class ship. We've been on the brand new ships. We've been on the Vista and the Horizon, and quite frankly, those ships really aren't our cup of tea. I mean, granted, every ship is better than sitting at home, so I certainly wouldn't turn a cruise down on them. But I find that the way they're making cruise ships now, and it's not just Carnival, it seems like every cruise line is, they're trying to pack so much to do on the ship, which sounds like a great thing, but the problem is the rooms are much, much smaller. Like, for instance, if you go on the brand new Horizon for Carnival, you got to wait in line to get in just about any room, because if you go to see the main show, it's always packed. There's never enough room. Even if at capacity for both shows, there's not enough seats to fit everybody on the ship. We found at the Comedian, you literally had to be in line the show before and stay in line during a whole show before you got into the next show because the rooms are just much, much smaller. So while there's more to do, they've confined them into smaller spaces. And I think we had a couple of super chats, so
We
let's go back
did.
and hit those.
The first one is from Blake F. A dollar
Hey,
99
Blake.
super chat. He says, "Hi Sal, what cruises do you have planned that are coming up?"
Um, well, I think I'm going on one with you, Blake. I don't remember the exact date, but since I'm in the car, I know a couple dates for sure. I have November 11th on the Elation.
Yeah, and one in January.
One in January. I'm not sure what ships that's on. That's another group cruise. By the way, if you're interested in going on what is going to be a really cool cruise, January 11th on the Elation,
That's
we are
November
we are
11th.
taking over the ship.
November 11th.
November 11th, excuse me. We have a large group on board, the nicest people you ever want to met. But if you've ever been to a Renaissance festival, we are literally having a Renaissance festival right on board the cruise ship. So there'll be people in Renaissance outfits and Renaissance songs and private parties with free booze. Going to be lots of fun. If you're interested, check out therencruise.com. TheRencruise.com. I will be the cruise director for the group, so we will be just having an absolute blast. But as for the other cruise, Blake, I've got like 6 or 7 of them planned, but I don't have the dates on me in the car. And for us, we take a lot of cruises as well, just kind of spur of the moment. We'll just wake up and say, let's just drive out and jump on a ship. So, and probably most of our cruises are that way. And we saw, was there another super chat?
Yes, this is a special thanks to Chris Salisbury, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly.
Hi, Chris.
$4.99 says, "I appreciate what you guys do. Thank you."
Thank you very much. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. And if you're new coming to the channel, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. What we mean by super chat, you'll see a little dollar notification next to your chat. That supports our channel, gives a little donation to the channel. And we make sure we hit all of those and talk to everybody who does that because they're easier to find because they highlight in color on the screen. But we do try to get to as many questions as we can. I figure we're going to be driving for probably another 45 minutes or so until we find someplace to eat. So we have plenty of time. Also, if you weren't here at the beginning of the show, Carnival now has a button down by the subscribe button that says join. They kind of sprung that on us. They didn't tell us they were putting it there. And what that is if you join our channel, in addition to subscribing, which is free, it's basically a $4.99 commitment to support our channel per month. And for that, you will get at least one live chat like this that's exclusively for members who have chosen to support our channel financially through the join button. But we're also going to give away some special cruise deals through those. I might even give a free cruise out through that in time. And we're definitely going to be sending out some special free gifts to those who have supported our channel through the join button as well. So you certainly don't have to do that. Joining our channel is completely optional. Our videos are always 100% free. We appreciate you just using the free subscribe button and watching. It really makes our day. What else do we have?
We have a couple of questions, and this one here might get us a couple different directions of the topic.
Okay.
Excuse me. Brandon is asked,
Hi, Brandon.
"Hey Sal, do you have any tips for taking a young child on a cruise? We are avid cruisers and are going to take a 1-year-old on her first cruise. So I guess my first question would be is if the child is with both original parents, biological parents, because if not, then you would have to have a note from that parent that's not sailing with you saying that it is okay to travel.
Very important.
Out of the country. Otherwise, you won't be able to board with that child. The other things is the camp carnivals, which I'll let you go ahead from there.
All right. What Debbie was referring to is just in case you can't hear her, if you're traveling with a child, and let's face it, there are a lot of people in this world who are divorced nowadays, but if you're traveling with a child and both biological parents are not on board, you will need a signed, notarized letter from the parent who is not going saying it's okay to take the child on a cruise as well as take them out of the country. And it's best to list the countries as well and put in any other countries that this cruise visits during these dates, just in case the cruise, changes their ports of call. But you will have to have that in order for the child to get on board. Now, my personal opinion is at 1 year old, You know, the best cruise out there for kids, let's face it, is the Disney cruise. And Disney is just remarkable. They do the same thing on a cruise ship that they do on a land-based vacation, and you can't really beat a Disney cruise for kids. However, for a one-year-old child, I don't think that's necessarily the case because, I mean, the child is one. What are they really going to remember or do on a Disney cruise to make that price tag, which can be 4 to 5 times the cost of a Carnival or Royal Caribbean cruise? So I would personally recommend Carnival for a one-year-old. And the reason why is because, and I know you're going to want to spend as much time as you want with your child and have them experience it, but it's a great way for you to take a vacation and know that you can also have alone time because Carnival also has what I consider outside of Disney the best kids program at sea. Camp Carnival will take your child and entertain them and play with them. They don't just lock them in a corner and put them in a playpen and leave them alone. They actually play with them and keep them entertained throughout the whole day as much as you want or as little as you want. You can leave them in there all day and they know they'll have a great time and bring them out just for dinners or anything you want. But Carnival, and it's not free, but it's also extremely cheap. Carnival even has an after hours babysitting service where they'll send somebody to your cabin at night so you can go to like the nightclub and do the nighttime activities and stay with your child in your cabin, or you can also choose to have them brought to the Camp Carnival area and have them watch there. And I also think that depends on which ships, which direction they go. But the service is absolutely phenomenal. We cruised when our children were very young, not as young as one, but when they were very young, and we always had a great experience with it. Almost, I remember the very, very first time we ever brought my daughter to Camp Carnival. I think she was about 5, and boy, did she cry going in. She did not want to be left alone. And then she cried once more when we tried to pick her up because she did not want to leave Camp Carnival. Every time we picked her up, that's all she wanted to do was go back to Camp Carnival and play. And they don't just play in like a little room. They dress as pirates and march around the ship. And they have the ships now have their own dance halls just for the kids. I mean, it's an extensive program, and they really do a great job.
We have a couple of the really important questions. We have a couple of super chats and some other questions that I kind of want to get touch base on. So if we may want to just do a little bit shorter answers on some of these to get through them.
That's her way of saying that I am very long-winded.
One question is one person was asking if they have wheelchairs, and I know that you have some information on that, even if you want to do it through the ports.
Yes, Carnival does not supply wheelchairs. The ship is very handicap accessible, but you have to bring your own wheelchair. There are a lot of places online that will rent wheelchairs, and they literally deliver them right to the ship. Wheelchairs, electric scooters, and they deliver them directly to your stateroom. So when you get to your stateroom on the first day, it's there waiting for you. Excuse me, I believe I'm wrong on that. When you get to the ship, I believe they actually have them at the port when you first get to the ship. And you have them all week long, and at the end, you leave them right on board, right at your stateroom, and they will come and collect them and bring them back for you. But they're relatively inexpensive, and they are really readily accessible. There's lots of companies that work through the cruise line. And if you book your cruise with me, and by the way, shameful plug, my phone number is 330-968-4300. I do have a concierge service. We handle all that for you behind the scenes. Most travel agencies don't do that for you, but when you book directly through us, not only do we try to give you an onboard credit to spend, but we handle all those fine details for you. So literally all you have to do is show up and enjoy your cruise and know that our concierge agency is taking care of all the details.
Okay, I'm going to skip one question, but I definitely want to come back to it because it is very important. But I want to do a shout out to a super chat for Fargo 007.
Hi, Fargo.
Wants to
Bond,
know,
James Bond.
how does ship size affect how crowded it can seem?
I would say it doesn't. And the reason why is because ship size is all relevant to the amount of passengers that it holds. You know, when you go in a smaller ship, it holds less passengers. When you go in a bigger ship, it holds more passengers. You're going to find, and I'm going to take it that maybe you haven't cruised yet, so I'm going to kind of go on that route. When you board a cruise ship, for most people, unless you have status with the cruise line, your stateroom is not going to be ready till about 1 o'clock p.m. So when you first board the ship, everybody goes to the same place. Everybody goes to deck 10, the Lido deck. because that's where you'll find the pool deck, and that's where you find the buffets where you can get all the food and Guy's Burger and all the good stuff. And during that first day up on that deck, I'm here to tell you, it's crowded. It's very crowded. But you're going to find that that only lasts really until the evening starts. After that first night, there's so much going on in all the different areas of the ships. Plus, you got people staying in their cabin. It really thins out a lot. So as the cruise progresses, you're not going to find it to be extremely crowded, and that's a big thing for a lot of people. A lot of people think we're going to just be packed with people all the time. It's normally not that way because people really do spread out throughout the ship after that first day, where literally everybody's packed on the Lido deck.
This question goes out to Roger Tooley. Should I have canceled my Carnival cruise for next year with all the news that is coming out?
No. Next question. No, I don't think you're going to have anything to worry about. And again, if something were to happen, I'm quite sure Carnival is going to take care of you. I have lots of them planned. I have zero fear that any of them will not go off. So no, I wouldn't cancel your cruise. That would be silly, and you'd end up missing an experience of a lifetime.
This question is kind of goes out to.
Sorry, the phone rang.
This question is, they're saying that they have a lifetime dream of going on a family cruise with all their kids and grandkids.
Okay.
They have received the money to do this and are covering all the expenses for the 11 people that are planning on going. They want to know if they can get a break on the Cheers program. Now, I know the only way that we could think of that would be helpful for this would be is if you know people that are planning on purchasing it, putting them all in the same cabins as opposed to people that aren't planning on drinking in other cabins or with minors.
Let me explain that one. Who's this going to?
This is going out to Marge.
Hi, Marge. First, grab a pen and a piece of paper because I'm going to give you some details at the end on how to contact me if you didn't write it down early. Because first of all, my concierge service specializes in groups. So when we talk, I can help you figure out how to get it the cheapest way possible. First of all, when you book that many people, we can book it as a group, which means you'll get a price break in general because you have so many people going. But I can also kick back and give you guys an onboard credit as well that will help pay for a little bit that you can spend on board the cruise ship. Now, there are ways to finagle and juggle the Cheers package depending on the ages of the people that are going. So we can put people that are under 21 in certain cabins and other people together that'll maximize who has to buy the Cheers package and who doesn't. So while there is no specific discount for buying a lot of Cheers package, depending on how we juggle who's in which cabins, and you can switch them around on board once you get on board. But on paper, depending on who we put in what cabins, will depend on how much of a break we can get you on the Cheers package. Now, write this down. My phone number is 330-968-4300. Give me a call on Monday. Don't call right now because my phone is in use making this video. But I would be more than happy to help you, and we would use our concierge to make your family cruise as memorable and as affordable as it can possibly be.
Here's a shout out for another super chat. Again, Blake F.
Blake!
Are you headed
if this is the right Blake F, by the way, then Blake might be doing some videos for us soon. So stay tuned for that. Let me know if I can't see the screen of who's chatting, Blake, but I think it's probably you.
Well, he wants to know if you're on your way to a cruise.
Nope, we're just on our way to lunch. We every once in a while, my wife and I will just jump in the car and we will just go on a ride someplace we've never been. Don't use any maps. Just get on the road and drive for about an hour and a half, just to find a restaurant that we've never been to before. And this is one of those.
He also wants to know if you know how many members you have.
I don't. I haven't checked.
Okay.
And I do appreciate the memberships, by the way. I just, for me, making the videos isn't really about the money. And while the money is very, very appreciated because it does take a lot of time and a lot of expense to make these videos, not only in time and gear and travel, because a lot of my videos are actually, tours. It does take a lot. So just watching the videos, the money that YouTube sends us from that, your subscriptions, even though they're free, we really appreciate them. If you click the join button, it's $4.99 a month. That certainly helps a lot, as well as any super chats you do here. It all goes to one and comes to us at the end of the month, and it's really, really appreciated. But I don't really do this for the money. While the money is great and helps pay for it, so I don't really check, you know, who subscribes and who doesn't. Only because I want to be fair to people. I don't want to take people who aren't subscribing them and treating them any differently. The only difference is when we do those specific things for those who have joined, such as the video for those who just have joined, or if we do a giveaway for those who just have joined, or special cruise pricing, etc. But in general, I don't want to treat people differently who can't afford to support us or just don't want to support us because they have their money somewhere else. I try to keep it an even playing field. But I do know if this is the right Blake. I do know that you joined because you told me you did.
This kind of goes backtracking a little bit again with Brandon and bringing the 1-year-old. He was asking more about the food and stuff. They do have a special kids menu now for a 1-year-old. Some 1-year-olds are still weaning off of formula. So if they are still on formula, that is something you will want to bring because that's not something that they're going to have on the ship. Also, if you have any special snacks that they like, other than that, what is your take on that one?
Carnival will be extremely accommodating. They will even blend and mash and do whatever they need to for baby's food. They will be extreme. But like Debbie said, if they're on a special formula like Nutramigen and formulas like that, Carnival's not going to have formula. So that stuff you're going to want to make sure you bring an ample supply of, and always bring extra. There are occasions, it's very rare, but there are occasions where something might prevent the cruise from getting back into port on time, and you might be stuck out at sea for an extra few days. I know, what a horrible thing, right? So for medications and formula and things of that nature, always make sure you bring, I usually say double what you need.
Let's see what else do we have here.
Deborah's looking. What kind of food do you think we should all be looking for? Let's take your votes down in chat. We have no idea what we're looking for. Oh, this is the infamous Pennsylvania toll that cost $7.50 to go 1.5 miles.
We just got our hands smacked. Somebody's asking us where are our safety belts.
Oops! Safety belts. Would you believe it's a lap belt? I wouldn't believe it either. All right. Thank you for calling me out on that. I was so eager to get the video going that I did not. They just closed this lane right in front of me. I was in a lane going through, and they closed it just as I hit at the thing.
Somebody is asking, how does faster to the front work?
Okay.
It's actually faster to the fun.
Do you want to? Well, faster to the front would actually work too. Do you want to explain it, or do you want me to explain it?
I will let you do that one because I'm not a big fan of that one.
Yeah, personally. I'm not a big fan of faster to the fun, but the reason why we're not big fans of faster to the fun, in all fairness, is because faster to the fun is basically purchasing platinum and diamond benefits.
Yes.
And lots of us, like me and Deb, have worked by cruising a whole lot and been loyal to Carnival Cruise Lines, and we've earned those benefits. And then after they announced them, then they announced that even though, we've earned them because of our loyalty to Carnival, they're going to let people start buying them as well. We always thought that was a little bit unfair. So what Faster the Fun is, it's for a fee. When you get to the terminal to get into your cruise, you'll get into a much shorter line to get onto the cruise ship. If you're not going to be there first thing in the morning, I say what's the difference, because the line pretty much moves really fast in the main line. But if you're going to get there and want to be like one of the first people on board the ship early in the morning, then Faster to the Fun will get you on board the ship faster. It also gives you a special access line when you need to go to guest services. And think of guest services as like the information desk is at a hotel. On days like the very first day when people first get on board, the line is humongous if you need help at guest services. Same will be the same thing for the last day as people are getting their final bill, increasing or decreasing their automatic tipping. And you'll get a special line that will be much shorter because you get to go in the line with the Platinum and Diamond members. Those are the main two benefits, I believe. And even for that, there are tons of times where there won't be any line at all at guest services. If you go in the evening, after like 9 p.m., there's generally never a line at guest services. So you're paying for extra for things that you don't really need, but they are nice perks, I guess, if you want them. They only sell so many of them, so if you don't see it when you log in to Carnival.com, it's because they are all sold out. That is one good thing about it. That way they keep that smaller line somewhat smaller. But
Um,
if I wasn't, but to answer your question, if I was not platinum and didn't get them, I personally wouldn't buy it.
we have somebody who's asking for our phone number again. So,
330-968-4300.
and we have somebody that is traveling to Cuba and is interested in the updates on any travel policies that they have with everything that's going on right now.
All right, so let's talk about Cuba. First of all, if I were a gambling man, I probably would not book a cruise to Cuba right now. Um,
They are leaving in 1 week, I believe it
Leaving
said.
in 1 week. Okay, well, your odds of getting there are pretty good. If you've been following the news, President Trump has been strongly considering reestablishing the embargo against Cuba because of the whole Venezuela situation. It could happen tomorrow morning, and if it does, I'm sure the cruise line will give you an alternate port. But if you were booking a cruise today, simply because you want to go to Cuba, I would personally really bet against it. Now, if you're going to Cuba, the one thing that you need to know, Cuba is different than any other port of call. Go on to carnival.com and book an excursion. You must have a shore excursion to get off the ship in Cuba. You can't just walk off the ship and go on a walkabout like you can at most every other port. There are specific guidelines that you have to meet in order to get off the boat in Cuba. And one of them, and I don't know the exact terminology, but it basically means that it's for education. And every shore excursion they sell qualifies that being part of the education. Now, there are tours that once you buy those tours, will give you some time to walk around Cuba while you're there, but it's considered a guided tour. But yes, you must have a shore excursion in order to get off the boat in Cuba. So that's the one big recommendation. If you did not know that, get on to carnival.com or royalcaribbean.com, whatever cruise line you're on, and book the good excursions while they're still there, because they can and do sell out. And they'll sell out especially fast if you wait till you get on the ship, because that's when they're going to tell you that you have to have one, and everybody's going to immediately start scurrying for their excursions.
There's a lot of talk going on here right now about some of the ships being quarantined due to either measles or bed bugs or illnesses on board. And they're speaking specifically of the Church of Scientology. I know we had touched base on it briefly before we had come live.
Well, let's talk about that word a lot, because that word a lot is pretty general. I mean, when you think about, there's a few thousand cruise ships wandering the earth right now, and there's one, and it's not even really a cruise ship. It's a Scientology ship.
And that's a question that we have as
It's
well.
not even
Is
really a
that's
cruise ship
standalone company.
that is. Well, they don't even rent to the public. It's like their own for their Scientology members. It's called the Sea Org. That right now is being quarantined. I forget why. It might be the measles. I'm not sure. But ships are very safe. You're much more likely to get sick going to your local hotel than you are on a cruise ship. The only difference is when a stomach flu breaks out on a cruise ship, it sounds really good on Fox News because it gives them something to talk about. Where they're not going to talk about, the guy who got sick at your local Best Western last night. Millions of people are on cruise ships right now. It's extremely rare that anything breaks out, and when they do, they got these glorified names for them like the norovirus, which really is nothing more than a stomach flu. So your odds of getting sick on a cruise ship are actually extremely small. The odds of them quarantining a cruise ship, even smaller. It's extremely small. Again, buy cruise insurance. That way, if it were to happen to you, you'll get your money back for it. Most ships will give you your money back for it anyway. But it's very unlikely. On a cruise ship, I definitely recommend washing your hands often. They also have sanitizer machines that hand out sanitizer. Sanitize often, because sure, anybody could come on tomorrow with a stomach flu and pass it on to another guest, just like they could if you visited the mall tomorrow and used the same handrail on the escalator. It's just part of life, but it's actually extremely rare. It does not happen often. It just makes great news when it does.
This question goes to some of the higher levels of people who have actually sailed more often. And it says that they don't sell the pins in the gift shop, which no, they don't. But if you are one of the higher selling passengers, then
On my phone right now, you can't call me because I'm using it to make this video.
I don't know if you guys had heard that, but I'll let you retouch on that one.
So how to get the pin if you don't earn it?
Right. Well, it says that they don't sell the pins in the gift shops, which they don't. High award members. But if you have earned a pin, say for gold, platinum, or diamond, then that should be given to you in your cabin.
Correct.
By your cabin steward.
Correct. The pins that there are some pins in the gift shop, but the pins for the gold, platinum, and diamond sailors, they're actually given to you each cruise by your room steward. Who put that?
Josh Welch.
Josh Welch. Was it a super chat?
No, I do have another super chat.
Josh, I'll make you a deal with me. If you join my channel, I'll send you a pin. Join my channel, click the join button down below, send me a message through Facebook. This is only for you, Josh, because I know you want a pin, and I'll send you a Carnival VIFP pin.
We do have another super chat, Blake,
Hi, Blake.
$4.99. There's a couple different questions in this one. The first one is
before you hit the questions, for those of you who don't know what these super chats are, I'm just going to go over again real quick. To support our channel, there's several ways to do it. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification. That is 100% every time we start a new video or upload a new video. You can also hit the join button. That is a $4.99 per month subscription. Gets you one of these live chats a month. Get you special deals that we'll give you for Carnival. Even going to give a free cruise out there to one member who joins, as well as some special giveaways as well. And then the super chat is what Debbie's referring to. When you put your chat on the bottom of the screen or whatever device you're using, there'll be a little $sign, and you can support our channel financially by giving a small donation with your chat. That highlights it on our screen and makes sure that we'll be able to see it. That way we can make sure it gets answered, because we can't answer everybody. There's just so many.
Now there's like 4 questions on this, and some of them are kind of quick answers.
This was
some
Blake,
of them
right?
not so much. Yes, these are all from Blake.
Hi, Blake.
The first question is when will be your first member live stream?
Our first member live stream is going to be next month.
Okay.
So it'll be in June.
Do you prefer sea days or port days?
Well, for me, it's odd because I know my wife probably prefers sea days because she loves to lay out in the sun on board the ship.
I think it just depends. It depends on the ports too, because a lot of times, like if you're going to Grand Turk, it's equivalent to laying out anyway.
That's true. For me, I sleep a lot of my sea days away because I film a lot, and typically when I'm filming, I do that late at night when there's nobody up moving around. That way I can get better views of the ship. And then during the day that I am awake, it's typically doing things like interviews with the captain or interviews with the onboard personnel. So onboard time for me, I really enjoy it. But when I'm on board the cruise ship and I'm awake, it's usually business during the day for me. I really enjoy the evenings with my wife, but during the day it's usually business. So for me, if it's for casuals, I probably prefer import, because while I do take some video in port, most of my day in port is just holding hands with my wife, enjoying the day, and for me, that's all I ever need. And I think I'm probably going to get some tonight for saying that.
Do you drive or fly to cruises? Yes.
Both. Both. We fly, we drive, any way we can get there. It just depends on how close it is, how much advanced planning we have. For me, I kind of have a different situation. I used to work for the airlines, so I used to fly anywhere in the world for free, as much as I wanted, and so was my wife and kids and parents, which I'll get to that in a minute and tell you why the time you should work for an airline. So every time I purchase an airline ticket now, I just kick myself in the ass for leaving the airline. So it's a hard pill to swallow. But for us, it's any way we can get there. It just depends on the time.
And his last question is the chef's table upcharge worth it?
Yes and no.
That's what I was just going to say.
Let's see what my wife said. You first.
I think it depends on what ship you go on. And I think it depends on, I guess, what your preferences are. I have experienced it. I don't wish to experience again. Um, Unfortunately, though, we both got very sick with it. It could have been a fluke chance, but it's an experience that if it's something that you're interested in, you should definitely at least try it once because it could be different for everybody.
So for me, the chef's table experience is more about the show than the food. Personally, I didn't care for the food.
I would agree with that.
The food was so gourmet that it was stuff you'd never heard of, and quite frankly, I didn't care for that much. By the way, if you're interested in experience it, I do have the entire video from start to end of our chef's table experience. After this video is done and I have more control over it, I'll link it up above, or you can just search my videos for it. Um, but first of all, it takes about 2.5 hours, so it's a very long experience. And frankly, we got very violently sick the night after we had that experience. And it wasn't, unfortunately, just us. Other people at our table got very ill as well. So we think there might have been a bad piece of fish or something. And I'm not saying this would happen to you because the odds of it happening to you are extremely low, but it did happen to us. And I think that left a bad taste in our mouths for the experience. But for the actual food experience, if you're going as a foodie, I would say spend the $30 extra and do the steakhouse over top of the chef's table any day of the week.
Um,
Oh, while she's looking for another question, I'll tell you about working at the airline. So if you're retired or you're young or you have kids that are over 18 years old and don't know what to do with their life yet, strongly recommend working for Delta or United. And the reason why is because you only have to work very few hours a week, even part time. But when you do, you can fly anywhere in the United States free. Your spouse flies free, your kids fly free, and your parents fly free. That's why I said if you have a kid who works for it, because you'll still get the flight benefits. And then if you fly international, you can do that as much as you want, and you only have to pay the taxes. Like, for instance, my wife and I flew to Paris first class, cost us 20 something dollars a piece. And if you've ever flown international first class, it's a whole different experience than first class domestically. I mean, you literally have a bed on board, filet mignon and lobster on fine china. It's just a whole experience. And they fill those cabins with people who don't buy those $20,000 tickets with employees and employees' families. So that's why every time I have to purchase an airline ticket, I wish I wouldn't have quit.
we do have a couple it's one conversation, but a couple people have touched base on it. It says that when they booked their Carnival cruise, they had a Carnival agent that had contacted them. And when they were looking on their website and they booked through Carnival, that person is actually stressed that they keep anything going through that person through Carnival.
Okay.
Um,
Well, here's how it works when you book through Carnival. Carnival is all about getting reservations directly because it costs them less money. The downside is once you've booked, that's it. They forget about you until you book again. I mean, they'll send you emails that are all sent on the automatic system, etc. But you're pretty much on your own, other than to call in and make payments, or if you miss a payment, they'll call you. I strongly recommend going with a travel agent or a concierge service like me. There aren't many concierge services like me out there. And the reason why is because we do more than just make a booking for you. I know my company, being a concierge, we actually hold your hand the whole process. We help you with your airfare, your hotel. We don't charge you a dime. We get paid directly by the suppliers. In fact, a lot of times you'll get a cheaper rate by going through us. And we also watch the cruise fares over the course of time. So if the rate goes down and you're eligible, your price actually will go down as well. Where the cruise lines aren't going to call you just to lower your price. You can mark my words. While they may have what they call the upgrade ferry and have to upgrade you, and people think that's because they like you so much. Let's face reality. The reason you're getting an upgrade is because that's what they have the most cabins available of. But when you go through a travel agent or a concierge, so it's either going to be a marriage license or a decree from a judge, something saying why the name does not match. You need to prove who you are. That is not the cruise line's rules. That is Homeland Security's rules and customs. So it's not something they make an exception to. So make sure you bring a copy of whatever it is that caused your name not to match your identification from your birth certificate.
It is entirely possible that we may have lost service. We're having some people saying that they're losing us, some people saying that we might be in a dead zone. So if we are back and you guys can hear us, please let us know.
Dun, dun, dun. That's what I get for going too far out in the boonies.
Are we officially in PA yet?
That's weird. We are. We're on the turnpike, so we should have service.
Okay, we are back. Hear us loud and clear.
Okay.
Thank
I hope you
you.
guys got the message. Did everybody hear on the name change? If not, I will repeat it. Let me know in the comments. And should we give away the secret?
We can.
All right. So this is something, and this is confirmed by somebody very high up at Carnival. Um, so I'm not going to accuse anybody, but you'll know if you're one of these people. You ever hang out at guest services and hear people complain over the silliest of things? Um, I find that there are a percentage of people who will complain over everything or anything with one purpose in mind. What's that purpose, Deb?
I'm sorry, I was reading comments.
I said people will complain over the smallest things or anything for one purpose:
To get money.
to get money. They're looking for Carnival to give them a refund or give them an onboard credit. And I mean, I've seen complaints like that have absolutely zero merit, and they will stand there and they will argue until they are blue in the face just because they're trying to get something for free. So here is what I have learned, and I bet you probably already knew this, but I'm telling you now, it's confirmed. The cruise lines, and it's not just Carnival, although the person I confirmed this with was a Carnival employee, extremely high up the chain at Carnival. Carnival keeps track of your complaints. It's that simple. Carnival knows what you complain about, what they give you, how often you complain. Every single time you make a complaint, it is logged. So if you think you're getting away with being one of those chronic complainers, Carnival knows if you've complained on that same complaint on the last 3 cruises you've been on. They know what they've done. So, you ever hear the story of the boy who cried wolf? It's fine to be one of those chronic complainers if that's how you choose to spend your vacation. But just know that someday, like any other vacation, whether it be land based or at sea, you may have a real problem. And when that happens, remember all those tiny complaints that weren't really complaint and realize the cruise line might not be up for doing much for you. That was my special tip that we learned. Oh, I almost gave away where I learned it. Can't do that. But we did learn that that is absolutely the case on board a cruise ship. And I'm talking every complaint. If you go down there and say, the water in my shower is too hot, can I get a credit? They're going to know that you, 10 years from now, that you had said the water is too cold in your shower and you wanted a credit.
Back to what our early conversations were when we first came on. Jessica is asking if they, do you get your money back if the ships get banned from any U.S. ports and we did not buy the insurance?
If the ship were to cancel your cruise, I am quite sure. Now, I'm obviously not Carnival Cruise Lines, but I am quite sure the cruise line will do the right thing and refund people's money or give you alternate transportation to get on the ship. Again, like we said earlier in the video, the odds of this actually happening are so small. This judge would be absolutely crazy to affect literally a global economy, let alone the economy that would be crushed here in America. Everything from banana growers to furniture makers would just be crushed if this were to happen. So it's not going to happen. It's a scare tactic. But if on the very small chance it does, you can rest assured the cruise line's going to do the right thing.
It looks like we touched bases on most of our questions that I can.
All right, guys, I think we might be out of questions. What else is there to talk about? Or should we just get off at this exit and try and find something to eat?
I don't know. Let's leave it up to them.
All right, what do you guys think? Should we get off the exit and find something to eat or keep driving? I think we've been driving about an hour now. Maybe a little longer. We're at exit 24. We're in Pennsylvania now, guys. We're from Ohio. What we're doing today is sometimes my wife and I will just get in the car and just go for a drive and look for a restaurant at someplace we've never been before.
Hi, Lori. We're actually right here in PA with you at the moment.
Hi, Lori. Want to come have lunch with us?
Paul says more videos, please.
More videos. I'm going to be making more. I didn't make any over the last 2 weeks intentionally because the first video on that judge really went viral. And quite frankly, I got a lot of hate mail because of it. A lot of people that just, I don't know why. I don't know it's because they like a different cruise line or they've never cruised and really don't know what cruising is. But there's a lot of people out there that seem to just have a huge hatred for Carnival Cruise Lines. Now, obviously, this is a very small percentage of the population, since, at least a very small percent of the cruising population, since Carnival is, the biggest cruise line in the world, and their ships certainly sail full every week. But it kind of was a bummer to me, just the hate mail that I received. So I wanted to take some time and put together the video that I did yesterday, but I really wanted it to be a little more well thought out than the videos I usually do, to respond to those people who sent me all of that hatred in the comments.
We're getting a lot of people, well, a couple of people telling us to go eat. But before we do that, Jack Graham is asking, can you still go to Cuba on a cruise as of now?
As of right now, you can still cruise to Cuba. Yes. Hi, Jack. As of right now, you can cruise to Cuba, but I mean, literally, President Trump just tweeted, I think it was 2 days ago, a tweet that he was strongly considering putting an embargo against Cuba if the leader of Venezuela doesn't head there, which he was supposed to a couple of days ago. So, I mean, with the stroke of a pen, any cruises to Cuba could be diverted someplace else. Now, let's talk about that for a second, because your cruise won't be canceled if we can't cruise to Cuba and you're planning on going to a Cuba cruise. Most likely, the ship will just hit one of the other tropical islands right around Cuba. So you'll still have a great vacation. But it is possible. I mean, right now, Trump could be signing an order to stop traveling to Cuba. I think at this point, just watching the news, that it's pretty likely that it will happen. That we won't be able to go to Cuba for much longer.
Let's see, we have, what is your advice on basically on an embarkation? What is the process? Anything you can give them as far
Sure.
as to make things go a little bit smoother or easier for
Well,
them?
let's talk about. I'm going to talk about Carnival embarkation, since this video was primarily talking about the Carnival thing that just happened with the judge, um, and they're all relatively the same. So the first thing I can recommend is when you print out your paperwork on Carnival.com or any cruise line, when you're printing out your paperwork, most of them, including Carnival, is now going to give you a time to show up at the pier. And while, yes, I don't think Carnival's actually going to turn you down if you show up earlier, even though I heard that they are turning people away, a good piece of advice is show up at the time that you're actually scheduled for. It will just make the embarkation progress a lot easier because they're staggering people coming in. That way the lines aren't through the roof. And it really does make sense. I will say that if you are platinum or diamond, for some reason, Carnival's site still gives you a time to come in the afternoon. And if you're platinum or diamond, you are welcome to show up at the port at any time. And then once you're at the port, understand that getting 3 to 6,000 people in 3 hours through customs and on board the cruise ship and checking everybody's documentation is a lengthy process. There are going to be times where you're going to be sitting in a large room waiting. Just understand that that's part of the deal. Don't get frustrated. No matter what cruise line you go on, that is part of the experience. So just use that time to look up YouTube videos, watch my videos if you want, and just kind of enjoy the experience of what you're going to be doing to get on the cruise. The other thing is when you show up for the cruise, have everything ready. Have your documents ready, your boarding passes, your birth certificate, driver's license, passport, anything you're going to need to get on board the ship. Have anything out when you get to the scanners, like a laptop that have to come out of your bags. Have them ready to go, just like if you're going through an airport. The more you have ready to go, the easier it's going to be for you to get off and get on board the ship. Don't plan on bringing large, oversized bags on board by hand. Check them with the porter outside. And that's another thing in this video that people tend to forget, that your porters, your dock workers, plan on giving them a gratuity. General rule of thumb is about $2 per bag. These guys work really, really hard, and typically a lot of hot places like Miami, where they're gathering your bags, making sure that your bag gets to your room on board the cruise ship. So when you hand them your bag, hand them $2 a bag. Trust me, they will appreciate it. They do get paid for what they do, but it's always nice to say, hey, thank you for doing a great job. Other than that, just like I said, just don't get frustrated. As a new cruiser who realizes you're going to get there and you're going to sit around for about an hour, it can be a frustrating experience. But just understand that's just part of the cruising experience. And I say that's my biggest advice: just don't get frustrated. Just go with the flow.
And one little bit of advice that I might give you a little offhand is if you're traveling with children or somebody who may be, diabetic or something on the lines of that, have a small snack in your bag or something, just something simple, because again, the weight can get a little bit time consuming sometimes, and they don't really have a snack that you can get to accessibly, but they do have drinks available.
And that's another quick thing to go right along line with that is also, as you're checking your bags with your porter, don't check any medications, or anything that you're going to need that first evening on the cruise. You're not guaranteed to get your check bags until about 9 o'clock at night, or God forbid they don't make it at all, which is very, very rare. You want to make sure your medications and things of that nature are carried on board so that you have them accessible.
And maybe you can put some E's for Maria Egbert.
Hi, Maria.
She says, Sal, I'm worried about my cruise on the Magic on July 6th for 8 days. Hope it won't be canceled.
Maria, the odds are so small that your cruise is going to be canceled. But here's what I want you to do if you're comfortable with it. Give me a call on Monday. Again, my phone number is 330-968-4300. And I can check, excuse me, I can check on your cruise. If you haven't made your final payment with Carnival yet, I can even move it over to our concierge agency, because we get information literally on a daily basis that we share with our customers. And I can promise you my communication with my customers is much more in detail and much quicker than what you'll get directly from the cruise line. But I would rest easy. I don't believe that anybody's cruises are going to be canceled. And in the extremely unlikely event that they were to say that Carnival can't dock their ships in the United States, I mean, Carnival has plenty of places where they can't dock the ship, like in Belize, and they tender people on board by using small tenders to get people to the ship. So there are other options, but I don't believe, and I don't think any major industry insider that I've spoken to believes that any federal judge would do something that would literally throw our economy into a recession. And believe it or not, the amount, and we're talking trillions of dollars go through the cruise lines a year in cash, it would literally throw us back into a recession. So I think you can pretty much rest easy. I seriously doubt that's going to happen. But again, if you want to talk to me directly, 330-968-4300, and I'm happy to work with you. So we're going to find a restaurant somewhere near where we're at, so it's not too late to get that last super chat in. If you want to guarantee your question gets answered, hit that super chat button. We're probably going to be about 5 more minutes. You know what I just realized? We came to this town in Pennsylvania. We got off the turnpike, and we're in a town that literally looks exactly like where we live. Has all the exact same restaurants. But it was fun driving out here and talking for an hour and a half to see the exact same stuff we have at home. Last time we keep driving another few minutes to see if it's anything a little more unique than Boston Market. So again, it's not too late to get a chat in. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in there. Guarantee we'll get to you if you put a super chat in, and it supports the channel. And again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It is totally free to subscribe to our channel. It lets you know when we put up new videos, and when you subscribe, it costs you nothing, but it really means the world to us. And then if you really want to support us, you can hit the join button as well. That's $4.99 a month. We'll give you a private online chat. It will also give you some unique prizes we're going to give away to those who have joined. Um, and we're even going to eventually give away a free cruise to somebody who has joined for the $4.99 a month. Again, you don't have to do any of that. The only thing we ask you to do is subscribe. Um, it's because of people like you watching our videos makes it all worth for us to do it.
Right now we're getting a lot of people saying thank you for doing what you do. um, the people out there that watch you are, they support you and they
We appreciate
appreciate
that very much.
what you do for them.
All right. I think we're about done then. We'll wait. I'm going to BS for another 60 seconds just in case somebody put a super chat in there so it's able to get through.
Maybe you can go on and maybe answer what is your favorite ship, or what is your take on maybe the Valor, or
I think my
anything like
favorite
that.
ship would be the Conquest. We did a
Halloween.
Halloween cruise on the Conquest once, and I'll tell you, it was one of my favorite cruises.
And it was actually out of Galveston. I know somebody actually is going on the Valor out of
and with the
Galveston.
best cruise director ever, who's not a cruise director anymore. I think he sells cemetery plots now. It was
Yeah. I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember the name.
I can't remember his name. Well, shout out to you. I can't remember his name. But boy, was he good. But if you ever have the chance to do a Halloween cruise, it's a lot of fun. They do dress up for Halloween. They turn a lot of the areas into haunted houses, and it's just a really fun experience. But the Conquest is definitely one of my favorite ships, if not my favorite. The Conquest in the Sunshine. Trying to think of his name. I remember. See how many cruises we had. This particular cruise director was blonde hair, and his thing was this. He would walk around the cruise doing this, both to passengers and to the other employees as a way of saying, keep a good show up. We're having a good vacation, just to kind of motivate people. Boy, can I not remember his name off the top of my head. He's my favorite cruise director of all time. I normally have it right up here, and
he has been out of it for a little while now.
It's amazing what you can remember and what does escape you. Yeah, I can't remember. If you can remember, put it down in the comments for those of you who've been cruising a long time. Let me ask you this. Who's your favorite cruise director? And who's your least favorite cruise director? I already know who my wife's going to say. And what about them do you like or do you not like? That's a good question.
I can answer my least favorite with one word.
Let me ask you this. Is she lovely?
Yes. She is.
I don't even remember her name, but
I don't remember either.
She was actually in a video I just put out a few days ago. She's a great cruise director.
She is.
She really is. But the hello lovelies is a bit much. Every time she gets on the speaker, hello lovelies, and that just it's fingers on a chalkboard after a while. But she is a great cruise director.
Yes, she was a great cruise director, and if you're cruising with her right now, or if you know who we're talking about, there's nothing to worry about. She is fantastic at what she does, and you will enjoy your cruise.
Do we have anybody put their favorite cruise director on there?
Let's see. JC from the Norwegian Breakaway is somebody's least favorite. They say, I'm not picky, they love them all. Apparently the cruise director on the Magic right now is not highly recommended.
All right, let's do this rather than bring it down. What's your favorite activity on board?
The good Rev Dr. E of Carnival is their favorite. He's good. Very entertaining.
What's your favorite activity on board? I'll tell you one activity I thought I was really going to like, and I was kind of excited for it. And I actually have a video going up on it tomorrow if this copyright claim ever goes away. Carnival put out a video, and I put it in my blog, but the people who own the music, even though it's licensed to use in this, the automatic system on YouTube copyright caught it, so I had to file an appeal. Hopefully that'll be done tomorrow and put up. But it's on this specific event. And Carnival, has anyone ever done the Clue? They brought Clue on board a cruise ship, and I thought it was going to be so much fun. And you basically go to the main show lounge, and for about 45 minutes to a half an hour, and you meet all the people that are in Clue. And it's just like the board game Clue. But then you realize, and they don't really tell you this towards the end, it affects your entire voyage. It's not something that's just right there and then. You've got to be in different places throughout the whole ship. And for me personally, I don't know. That takes away from. I want to be other places. I don't have to say, "Oh, I want to have to go here because I got to figure this Clue out for the game show Clue." A lot of people tell me they really enjoy it, and it's innovative. I'll give them something brand new, and a lot of people seem to like it. It wasn't really for me. Real excited about Family Feud.
I like the idea of it.
Really excited about Family Feud coming on board. On the new Mardi Gras, we'll have a Family Feud set up.
Let's see, Mr. 305 says that the men's hairy chest contest is their favorite. And they get some pretty wild things going on during that one, that's for sure.
I was, I almost did that once. I was about 150 pounds heavier, and I was I don't know. Even then, I don't know. I almost did it once. I find what I like about the men's hairy chest contest is I like the fact they don't always give it to like the most buff guys. Sometimes like an older guy will get it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't always go to like. Not
Well,
everybody's bodies are perfect. That guy knows mine sure isn't.
I think it goes more not so much about the hairy chest competition. I think it goes more about how you interact with the people that are involved in this
I agree.
contest, because it's not just about the hairy chest. It's about, there's three female judges for three guys, or sometimes they do more than that. But they do. It's part of the who has the better backside. It has to do with you have 30 seconds to go around and see who can give you, part of different wardrobes and what you can dress up as. So it's just kind of the whole interaction thing, but it is called the Hairy Men's Chess Competition.
I was on the Vista last year with my son. Remember, that's the cruise I almost got thrown off of. So if you watch that video, that's an interesting video. They almost threw me off the ship. But that was actually kind of a neat one because it was a bunch of out of shape, like me, very hairy men, except for one guy who was about 23, 24 years old, and he had a perfect chiseled body and not a hair on his chest. He still won. And the women sure loved rubbing their hands along his chest.
I bet that's not all they love rubbing.
Oh, PG channel, honey, PG channel. Beep. All right, guys, I think that is it for us. We're going to look for some food around here. I'm Sal. This is my gorgeous wife, Debbie. And thank you so much for watching our video today. We have lots more to come. We really appreciate you more than you can imagine. So until next time, we'll see you on your next vacation.